You know, what a game. Obviously a great comeback win for us. You know, didn't start off with the edge that we needed to, which we had seen the last couple of games. You know, defense wasn't there pretty much in the first half, maybe even to the, you know, a little bit of the start of the second half, but we just found a way, picked it up to end up with, you know, 12 steals, 6 block shots. Obviously, Jay setting a tone for us, you know, with 5 steals, JJ continuing to block shots, 3 blocks, and you go down the whole roster, starters, guys off the bench, you know, 3, 4 plus rebounds. You know, we started making some shots in that second half, but, you know, I told the guys, you know, they're playing great in the first half. We just didn't have it in the first half. You know, we're down 5. We got to pick up our urgency. Just got to pick up our, you know, aggressiveness on the defensive end. You know, they're hitting some good shots, they're hitting some tough shots. You know, found a way to just get some more impactful plays on the defensive end, and just a huge, you know, run there in the fourth quarter. Obviously, winning the third and fourth was huge. You know, being down at the halftime. So, obviously, one of our better come from behind wins this season. It was great. You know, we talked about before the game to get back in front of our home fans, and how the building was rocking in that fourth quarter. You know, and it wasn't just, you know, the made shots. You know, I know when JJ hit that big 3. Crowd erupts, they called timeout, but you could just sense, you know, our crowd just continuing to stay behind us all game, especially when we were getting some big stops and, you know, getting that run. But, you know, didn't have the edge at the beginning, but credit to these guys to keep fighting. You know, the Timberwolves gave us a heck of a game, you know, for 48 minutes, came down to the wire. Proud of the execution in that fourth quarter as well, you know, against some different coverages. You know, Ja with some big plays, JJ with some big plays, other guys really stepping up as well.
Coach, what was it like to see Ja and Jaren, 2 guys who, you know, had their struggles as being young players, just come in and just refuse to lose in the fourth quarter?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, that's a credit to them. It's a credit to the whole team. I mean, they've embraced that mentality of, you know, it's a 48-minute game, and, you know, the first, you know, 24 plus weren't really that great for us, you know, not just collectively, but some individually. You know, JJ wasn't, you know, hitting many shots, but, you know, his teammates kept finding him. Ja kept finding him. Other guys kept finding him. You know, defensively, you know, we changed coverages. We started switching pretty much everything. You know, the communication was awesome. It wasn't there in the first half, but it was there in the second half. So to have those individuals, the entire team, just continue to grind through it, get back to, you know, what we've been doing, you know, recently. What are our habits? What's that edge? What's that mentality? You know, how do we do that? What are the little things to, you know, that you can control? You know, it's very, very impressive.
This was like the 4th game in 6 nights coming off a road trip. Do you think there was just some dead legs like through the first 3 quarters, and then what kind of led to that surge in the fourth quarter? Was there some sort of rah-rah speech? Like what took place before they kind of find energy back?
Yeah, I mean, just a slow start. You know, it's going to happen sometimes. You know, we've faced that. You know, we've say for the most part been a pretty good first quarter team. You know, pretty good, you know, third quarter team, and we just didn't have it. You know, but these guys, like, you know, there's no, you know, special speech or anything. We come in, we talk about how we can be a little bit better defensively, showed them some offensive clips about how we got to play with a little bit more force on the offensive end. But, you know, the same message about just finding an edge. And I think that's what we kind of really discovered these last 4 games, especially on the road and coming back home. And, you know, starting off a little flat is going to happen sometimes, but, you know, just continue to remind them of what we've built, you know, in this last month or so. It's a credit to them. You know, their spirits are up. You know, it's not just one guy that we expect to turn the table. You know, we got some sparks off the bench, but then our starters, when they came back in, obviously Jay in that third quarter really got us going, and, you know, created some life and momentum for us. And then it's just different guys, you know, in that fourth quarter. You know, to get it from a collective, you know, standpoint was huge for us tonight.
Coach, you're about halfway through the season, and what do you think of the culture that's developing within this team?
I feel very fortunate. You know, I'm blessed to be in this position. I work with a great group of people, from our players to our coaches to our performance staff, and it's everyone. Everyone has, you know, taken our message from the beginning of the season. It's organically developed, not just on the floor, which everyone sees, but, you know, hopefully everything that's going on behind the scenes is also a reflection of what you guys are seeing every single night, and the growth and the competitiveness every single day. So I'm super proud of these guys, our entire staff, you know, front office, coaching staff, medical staff, and that's the truth, because, you know, it was a slow growth process early, and, you know, to see us kind of continue to get better and grind and, you know, not waver from, you know, the habits that we're forming. we know that we've got so much more room to grow, but that we've kind of laid this foundation of going out and competing and being unselfish on both ends. Obviously, us offensively being a top assist team and just focus on getting better. Now we get to be home for 2 weeks now, where we can really dive into the individual player development. We're back home and get that practice time, that individual time to continue to carry us for the rest of the season.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about how your veteran players are able to kind of bring the intangibles that help you win games like this, whereas a younger team without that kind of veteran influence won't?
Yeah, I mean, it's I said at the beginning of the season, I feel blessed with the group of vets that we have here, because they're all going to make an impact in different ways in different games. One night it's Jonas, it's Jay, it's Solo, it's Tyus, it's Kyle. You never know who's going to step into that role, and it can be one play here, it can be a stretch of plays, it can be an offensive performance, it can be just a stat line with a bunch of zeros and a bunch of rebounds and a bunch of deflections. You just never know. But to come into the timeout, start to talk with the coaches and seeing everyone talking, even our young guys being empowered by our vets to take some leadership. And then another time it's one of our vets talking about what they need to be doing or some situation or staying the course and screw what just happened, let's just move forward. That they've embraced that. That's awesome. As a coach, where you can kind of take a step back and let it organically happen. So said that from the beginning. We've seen it over the course of the season, and it's a different guy every night. Whether it's a vet or younger guy. But to be able to lean on our vets, even sometimes behind closed doors, not even a game situation. Had to lean on them a lot for some decisions that we're making. So I got to take that experience and run with it, because it helps me grow as a head coach too.
Coach, D'Anthony put up a plus 24 in the box score with only scoring 6 points. Talk about his positive impact on the game.
Huge impact. That's what we talk about sometimes. You look down the box score and, he didn't, shoot the ball or, get a ton of steals or whatever it is, but obviously he had rebounds and, plus minus. It just shows your impact, individually, but also with the collective units that he was out there with. But that's something that we talked about him, knowing that he's going to come in, he's going to, make an impact. Obviously defense being a big focus of his. So, when we were switching out there, him, executing coverages and communicating and, taking some of their post opportunities away was huge for us. So, that's the confidence we have in him to go out there. And obviously we were kind of struggling tonight to get some juice going, and kind of threw him back there in the fourth quarter with a group that, gave us some huge momentum to take the lead, and obviously to get, him along with some of our young guys to be able to close out games. What great, learning opportunities for them.
The Grizzlies are undefeated when Dylan Brooks hit 20 points or more. So how did you feel when he hit that 20 points tonight?
Sure. I mean, I think he was almost at 20, at halftime, and we're down 5, so I'm going, all right, let's get him to 20. Let's get another win. So, but I'm proud of obviously that stat ties to a lot of the offense, but let's not forget what he's doing defensively for us. His competitiveness, his edge that he brings every single night, taking off tough matchups. Even tonight, a couple big 50-50 rebounds, in the fourth quarter, has a huge putback. Those are winning plays, and, those are the things that hopefully everyone's noticing, not just from Dylan, but other guys making winning plays throughout the game for 48 minutes. But, when obviously he plays well, we play well, but, that's our expectation for all of our guys, go out there and make an impact.
Tonight was the third straight game where Jaren's had at least 3 made threes and 3 blocks. I don't know that that's happened in the last whenever, if ever. It seems like defensively he's taken it to a different level over the last couple of weeks, rebounding-wise as well. Have you noticed a change if something happened there? Because it seems like he's very impactful there.
Yeah, just big-time development on his side. Obviously there's been tons of conversations, coaches, the vitamins we do with him, a lot of defensive focus, the film that we're showing him. But this kid loves to compete. He loves to get better. He knew from the start of the season he could offer so much more. As I just said, we want guys that can impact on both ends of the floor. And for him to go out there, and we see what he's doing offensively, gaining so much comfort, so much confidence with a 3-point shot, playing off the bounce, but knowing that he's rebounding more, blocking shots, getting some steals. It's awesome to see, because he's taken it to heart. In the recent success we had, so many guys have contributed, but when you just kind of isolate JJ and talk about what he's doing defensively and be more of a presence, I mean, some of the block shots don't even show up. He might get a foul contesting a shot at the rim, but we want him to go. We want him to be active. And him embracing that mentality is only elevating his game, and we know he's got so much more to give. He does too, but the fact that he's trending so positively in both ends, it's great to see.
We'll do 2 more, Megan, and then Dom. Coach, what can be said about your team being able to beat Minnesota 3 times this season, a young and hot team?
It's not easy. You know, we talked about that before the game, how, you know, when, you know, you beat a team, you know, 3 out of 3 on the season, you got to come with an edge. Credit to our guys. I mean, that first game here at home was high-scoring affair. The second game going up there, early game, had a couple of guys out, different guys stepping up. And then tonight, you know, when we were kind of off to start the game and, you know, many of their guys were playing well, hitting shots, you know, big-time finishes. They came with an edge defensively. For our guys to kind of just stay the course, you know, and come through with a win's huge. So, you know, it's what we talk about with these guys. You know, every game's going to present something new. You know, whether it's a specific opponent, specific situation, it's great learning. But you know, for these guys to overcome, you know, that slow start against a team that's playing really well. You know, been one of the best defenses in the league. You know, the last 5 games, tons of guys, individual growth. You know, it's a big win for us.
Taylor, you talked about the mentality and the edge. How different does it feel, you know, say in the huddle when you're down 14 or when you're coming back and starting to roll as opposed to how it felt the first few weeks of the season?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the mentality when you're down 14, you know, hopefully it was kind of the same early in the season is, you know, we just got to find a way. You know, this is good for us. Like, we've got to learn. Like, you can't always be playing with a lead. Basketball's a beautiful sport. You know, there's games of runs, there's ups and downs. You know, just the focus on us trying to just sustain, you know, early on, we were trying to find ourselves. You know, how are we going to sustain, you know, tough moments or even when we had a lead? How are you going to play the right way offensively? How are you going to not, you know, take your foot off the gas pedal defensively? You know, tonight being from behind, it kind of sparked us in the second half. Last couple games having double-digit leads, 20-point leads. You know, we let one slip away, and then, you know, the other 2, LA and Phoenix, you know, we just kept pushing on offense, didn't stray away, you know, multiple assists, kept playing unselfishly, and then defensively just kept setting a tone. You know, teams are going to go on runs. It's basketball. But, you know, to get different situations, especially at this stage, knowing that we've come through a lot where we were kind of finding ourselves, hopefully these guys are starting to realize what our habits are, what our identity's starting to become, and it's organically happening. So it's fun being in those timeouts and, you know, game flow and just knowing we're going to learn from this, we're going to get better from this, and trusting the guys to just kind of just believe in what we do and do it together. And, you know, obviously when you win, it's great, but, you know, even some of the tough times, you know, we're showing how we can overcome.
Thanks, everyone.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations.
Thanks.